Hello, good morning, and welcome to the live stream. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're coming from. I'm Jesse Showalter. Welcome to the channel. If you're new to the channel, I'm a designer, I'm a developer, I'm a creative, and I like to make stuff, create stuff. And today on the live stream, we are going to be designing a video game trivia app using Adobe XD. That's the plan, that's the jam. So if you're into that, you came to the right place. Lots of people jumping in the chat. Hey, do me a favor, tell me two things. If you're jumping into the chat, tell me where you're coming from and tell me favorite video game, if you have one, okay? Where you're coming from, favorite video game, because Jade Ev's here, Abdul is here, Joe and Stefan and Kartik and Yan is here, Alessio is here, lots of people here. So good morning to everybody, good afternoon. Hope you guys are having a great Saturday wherever you are at. Anybody got any fun weekend plans also? So that's, I don't know, let me know. India, PUBG, Kartik says. Okay, favorite game right now, PUBG. That's a classic of all these games where you skydive in and collect some stuff and shoot some people up. That's a classic. That's like the one. Let's see, from Taiwan. I don't know the game Devotion. I'll have to check it out. London, The Last of Us. What a story, huh? In The Last of Us. Oh my goodness. Hey, video games aren't your thing? That's fine. You could even put your favorite book title because I like to read as well. India, favorite game, Apex Legends. Okay. Romania, Stefan's from Romania. And I think it was Minecraft, but maybe changed. A lot of people saying God of War. London's in the house with Alexander. Hey, good morning to everybody. Getting some people on the stream. Hey, so again, really quickly, the plan is to design a video game trivia app in Adobe XD. We're gonna be doing some voice prototyping, some sound like interactions, and some basic design stuff, just having some fun. It's gonna be a shorter stream. Maybe we'll do about 30 minutes of design, and then I'll answer questions and I will look at portfolios. So I'll let you know, a time will come in the stream where you can submit your portfolios. I'll be taking a look at those as well. Abdul says, already quick question. Hey, why not start with a quick question? What software do you use to record and edit your screen videos, please? Oh, so I use ScreenFlow to capture my screen for normal videos. And then I use Adobe Premiere Pro to edit my videos. And then right now I'm live streaming. So I'm using Streamlabs OBS to stream this on YouTube. That is the deal, the software deal right now. Okay. Well, let's take a look really quickly. I have a starting file, and if you want this file, hey, really quickly, if you want this file, I actually just launched memberships on my YouTube channel. So you see a little join button. If you hit join and become a member, you get access to files and updates, behind the scenes stuff. And that's a way for you to support the channel and say thanks for the content if you want to, but also get the goodies, okay? So not only will you get the starting file, but after the stream's over, you'll get the completed finished file. And inside of this zip file that I've posted, actually I already posted it, so if you become a member, it'll become available to you on the communities tab of my channel. There's the fonts, there's the assets, and there's this starting Adobe XD file. So if you're interested, that's just a thing. All right, okay, Abdul says, love you, man. Love you right back, Abdul. Thanks for being so awesome. Let's jump in. And again, if you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you do that. Let's get going. What do we have on our screen right now? We have an Adobe XD file open. I got this little background image. It's actually, I think it's a vector group that I literally pulled this in from Adobe Illustrator and brought it over into XD. So pretty cool, lots of interactions or integrations between the Adobe suite. It's not an ad for Adobe, I just think it's pretty rad. So we got that fun little video game grid, and I have a couple other little assets. I have a little heart here that we made out of some paths, and there are multiple hearts just stacked on top of each other, so we get that little 8-bit glitchy kind of like thing. I got a little Donkey Kong little trophy, and I have a little piece of typography. Typography we're using today is called Whoa, where are you at? Called Joysticks. So it's a free font you could download, or you can get it in the starting file if you become a member. Also, if you become a member, you get a little fun little member tag in the chat. So as you chat, people know you are the real deal fan of the channel. that's the thing. Okay. And so I'm thinking we're gonna do like portrait mode, like phone game, you know, and it's gonna be a trivia game. So we're gonna be able to ask questions, answer with our voice, or tap on the specific like call to actions. Okay, so let's just do this. Let's just move this thing right in there like so, and we're already cruising. Okay, and it's like, oh, it's done. That's an entire design right there. Not really, we got a lot more work to do, don't we? Okay, cool. So let's jump in really quick and see what do we need to do. Well, we definitely need this needs to be like the launch screen. So let's take our typography, drop it in there. Let's make it bigger. I'm gonna grab this little tab at the bottom and just make it bigger. And usually like, we're going real simple, old school 8-bit kind of game. So let's do one that just says like new game. Okay, let's make these center aligned or justified text and center align it to my screen. Let's do new game there, or let's also have an option for high scores, like an old 8th, like you're playing Frogger or Super Mario Bros. Not a lot of options, right? That's what we want. Let's take one of these and turn them white, so we have kind of like an active and an inactive state kind of thing. Okay. Okay, and let's see. Abdul says sexy font, definitely 8-bit, and everything else is going to have to match to make that, get that 8-bit vibe. Okay. Let's bring some of these little guys in here. And just like literally just decoration, just hanging out on the page, nothing special, nothing fancy. And we'll bring these down. And then I think what we're gonna wanna do is, we're gonna wanna, if you are new to XD, we're gonna do something called component states. Just kind of a weird thing to do with typography, but in essence, a component state is you being able to take something, make a component out of it so it's reusable, but then giving it a state. So like different states, so you can turn things on and off and hover and all that kind of stuff. So let's create a component out of this text. And what happens if we take this text down here and do high score? Okay, so let's get rid of that. So we have two components on the artboard now. We have one of them that's the master, you can see because it says main up here, and the other one is an instance. You can tell because it says instance. You can also tell in Adobe XD because you get this little filled green kind of pyramid, a diamond, excuse me, and then you have this empty white diamond over here that indicates master or instance. Okay, so we have the default state of green. We want to give these an extra state. Let's do a new state of actually, and you know what we'll do, we probably want this to be the normal state, don't we? I think so. Let's just do this first. Okay, so we have our default state, it's filled. Let's call this option over here in our layers panel, and we have, ooh, that's why we want that one to be white, and we want this active state to be our green color. Okay, so what we do is just move down to that active state, grab our little picker, grab our green, and now we have a default state and an active state. Now we can create that instance and change this to high scores. Okay, now this is going to be a little bit weird because you have default and active. You have to change both states. I feel like at some point Adobe is going to need to change their component states if you're working with text, so that they both like you change the text in one and it's recursive. It changes everywhere. That's just a thing. Okay, let's see. Will you be able to see our project after sometimes? Yeah, if you post later on when I ask. Good question, Ariane. I'm going to ask for portfolio submissions and I'll take a look at your portfolio. So that's the thing. Triz says loves the background music. How's it playing? What's the deal there? I'm live streaming, so I'm using my live streaming software and I got everything kind of set up. That's how that's working. Okay, back to our thing here. We're gonna want a prototype, right? So there's no hovers inside mobile games, so you probably want to tap once and have it go active and then tap again to confirm, don't you? Right? Maybe, I don't know. Or we could just make one active and the other one not. Okay, something like that. So we could put both of these together and make a new component out of this. We'll call this menu. We're just prototyping. This is part of design, right? Now we're making a new menu. Our default state is with the new game on and the old and the high scores off. And then we'll create a new state called high scores. Hey, guess what? You know what we just did? We made a nested component, a component that has other components inside of it. Pretty cool stuff. So with that being said, now that we have our high scores state selected, we're gonna go inside and grab this option, turn that to default, turn this to active. Are you tracking with me? So now we have a default and high scores state. Then we can prototype this thing. Check it out. We can go here. We're in our default state. We can click here on high scores, and that on tap is going to transition to the active state. Are we tracking? Now we go over to high scores, and let's do the same thing back. We're going to tap on this, and we're going to choose back to active. I think that's going to work. If it doesn't, I probably totally just botched this, and that's okay. But I botched it. That's all right. Let's just leave it as let's leave it as is. Sometimes you just mess up. Anybody okay with that? Are we all cool with that? I'm sorry. I'm gonna go back. Boy, sometimes life is just never perfect. Sometimes it just doesn't work out. Let's get rid of this thing. I did something wonky and wrong, and I don't want it. So let's just bring our component back out here. That's fine. We'll just do this, and we'll just do high scores. Wah, wah, wah. That's a video game sound for you right there. All right. We'll just put that back in the middle. Let's get on to better things, shall we? And stop failing so hard. Learn UI designing. I'm using a font called Joysticks. It's a free font. You download it online, just do a quick search for it, or you can download the starting file by becoming a member if that's what you're interested in doing. Okay, you can totally design this in Figma. Actually, Figma, yeah, I just chose Adobe XD because that's what I've been using a little bit more lately. But Figma's I love Figma as well, and Figma also has Smart Animate, which we're going to be using here in a second. Like when I say second, I mean right now. So definitely use Figma if you're more comfortable there, and it's free to use. So yeah, absolutely, he used Joysticks font. Yep, that's me. Side note, I'm drinking this drink called Legend. It's a spicy ginger nootropic drink that helps you with your focus and concentration. I've been digging it a lot lately. It's really, really good. Tastes like a ginger beer, but it has like turmeric and lots of other healthy things and very low sugar. So I'm not on board with the sugar. So let's do this. Let's bring our other assets or components into this thing. Our level that we're currently on. Go back to our layers panel. And let's get some consistent spacing here, okay, shall we? So I'm gonna zoom in on our new screen here, and let's go 1, 2, 3, that's 30 pixels from the left. That means our heart should also be 30 pixels from the left, but we need to probably have some copies of these guys. So let's just drag some copies out. And I could repeat grid here, which is a feature in XD, but I don't want to, and there's a reason, because I know that I'm gonna be turning these on and off as we go, right? Because we have I mean 5 lives right now. We get 5 wrong and the game is over. That's kind of the idea, okay? So we're on level 1. We need to ask a question. Let's make our question a little bit smaller, shall we? And actually, let's get rid of this. We don't want it to be a component. We want it to be a question. So let's ask a question, something like, who wins in a fight, Mario or Luigi? Okay, and if you have an opinion right now on who would win in this fight, you let me know. Okay, I don't have an opinion. I think it'd be a pretty even battle. I think the standard answer would be for people to say Luigi, or excuse me, Mario, but that's just because Mario's like the face of Nintendo. Maybe Luigi should win today. I don't know, maybe that's the thing. You let me know what you think. I watched all your videos, Alexander says, and you gave me so much inspiration for my career. Get inspired to teach other people my knowledge too. You're awesome. Thank you very much, Alexander. That's the whole point of the channel, just to encourage people, inspire people to just start creating today, to fight off imposter syndrome. And the whole channel is geared towards basically me 12 years ago when I started out in my creative career. So I just want you to have all the tools and the encouragement and everything you need to get started. So that's the whole point, and I appreciate you appreciating it. That's awesome. Thank you. Appreciate that stuff. All right, so let's put our question right there. We're going to change a little bit of line height here. Boom, 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 to 45. And we're not playing a whole lot right now with like all the options that we could be playing with. You know what I mean? Like typographic scale and all those things. We're not doing any of that stuff today. We're just doing this thing. Somebody says Princess Peach would win. I think that's okay. I'll tell you what, Mario or Peach. Obviously Peach would win. Okay, let's make a button, but let's make an 8-bit button. I think that could be really, really fun. So I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. I'm gonna draw out a rectangle. So the start of any good button is a rectangle. And why don't we actually just make it a border button? Okay, about 5 or 6 pixels on that size. I'm gonna grab my green, and hey, while I'm here, I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna save that green in my palettes, and I'm going to get rid of some of these other colors that aren't being used, right? So, okay, we have green there. And how do we turn this into an 8-bit button? Well, here's what we would do. Let's chunk out, let's just make this border a little chunkier to be like really 8-bit style. And then what we're going to do is we're going to hit R for rectangle, and we're going to draw a little square here, okay? Just a little square. And we're going to zoom in, and we're going to do some Boolean operations here. Watch, I'm just going to drag this thing out like that. I'm going to just duplicate this thing, okay? This little square that we created. I'm getting crazy things on my keyboard right now. And my mouse died, so I'm working with trackpad, which slows me down. Do you guys work with trackpad, or do you prefer a mouse? I don't know. I prefer the mouse. So now I've taken the 4 little shapes that I have there, the little white squares, and I've selected that background shape as well. I'm going to come up to my Boolean operations, or my pathfinders. I'm going to hit subtract, and boom, when I subtract, it actually just knocked it out. And for some reason, it actually like prop them inside of here too. I don't know why I did that, but that was like an added little benefit. I wasn't expecting that. Play with them, and that's just what happened. Okay, cool. That works for me. That looks way more 8-bit than it did before, right? Now you got a little 8-bit button. Okay, and now we can take some text, and sometimes you get a little happy accident, like a little Bob Ross thing going on. It worked out really good. So let's do our options in here. Okay, Mario. Let's make it point text so we can shrink it down with our little thing. Mario can go right in the middle, and let's grab that and group them together, and let's do another option over here, and this one would be Peach. Okay, so let's grab that button and that button, and we just want to line them up in the middle. We're going to take this whole thing and just kind of center it a little bit. Okay, I like it. I'm into it. And let's see. I mean, it's pretty good. I think so far so good. Now we need the correct and the incorrect answers. You know what I'm saying? So from here, somebody's going to select one of these guys. Let's call this artboard questions. Okay, and let's do. I'm going to put this out here like this. I'm going to say correct. I misspelled the word correct, because that's how I do things. Okay. Sukla says, in what age do you start learning this software? I started doing XD a couple years ago when it came out. And I've just stuck with it. And Figma, I'm going to be really honest, I've kind of abandoned Sketch. Just personal preference, just me, but. Abdul says, what about adding little arrows next to the buttons so they look a little bit more like a button? I like that. Hey Abdul, I like your input. Let's do this. I'm going to open up a little program I use called Icon Jar. I probably don't need to Icon Jar for an arrow because it's just an arrow. But look, kind of a fun little, could be a fun little 8-bit arrow, right? I could have just made it in XD, but that's like an extra minute, and I don't have that extra minute. So let's take it and just size it up. I'm going to tap on the text and then just repaste it in there so it pastes inside that little area. Something like that. Okay. Let's get rid of this one then, and let's just bring this guy over. Peach, just like that. And boom, boom, boom. And we're going to add some cool sound effects and stuff to these. Okay, I like it. I'm into it. Why don't we take our buttons, boom. Both of our buttons, copy them. We have buttons with arrows here, so let's just put them back where they belong. That's where they belong. And then what we're gonna do is we are going to probably let's do something like this. This is the correct screen, so let's just go nice and big. Boom, correct, and let's bring in one of our assets, our little trophy guy right there. Bink. Put that right at the top. Congratulations, you got it correct, right? I like what's going on here. That correct is really big. So let's just bring that down. We just want to make sure everything is kind of centered. Okay. And I tell you what, why don't we're going to bring Peach down. Let's say Peach is the correct answer. We want to just do something like that. Okay. Just bring the opacity of our incorrect answer down. And you know what I'm going to do? I keep messing with this, so I'm going to lock this background because we don't need that. We don't need it. touch that. We don't need to play with that, anything. Let's just bring that down like that. Okay, so far so good, looking all right. And then we probably want another little call to action down here that just says next, okay? Or, and this is what maybe I don't like about the arrows in the buttons, is that maybe it looks a little bit like I really kind of want this arrow down here as like our next question, but that's okay. Let's just stick with it for now. It might be a little bit of a confusing user interface, but I think it's worth trying and exploring. We really want like this nice big thing here, this nice big arrow so users know. Okay, so that is the correct state. Let's go incorrect here. Little side note, notice how I'm like laying out my artboards like this, and then when there's a choice, I'm kind of actually, it's almost like I'm doing a low resolution user journey. I like to do that with my artboards if I can. You don't always get the choice to do that, but I'm just throwing that in there. Okay, let's do this. Incorrect. And we need to introduce like a bad color like that, okay? So let's bring this up. Let's bring our peach button down, and let's make this that same incorrect color, like that. Mario, that is incorrect. And then what you need to do also is you need to take down one of the lives, don't you? Okay, that's pretty good. And you know what? They don't need a trophy there. They need a Donkey Kong yelling at you. That's what they need, saying, you did this wrong, man. Let's put him right there, just like that. Okay, now, I think that's good for the design so far, right? Let's do a little bit of prototyping stuff. Okay, I think Adobe XD, it has the best designs among all the Adobe apps. Oh, that's pretty cool. Good stuff. I like it. Can you make the box color of the wrong one red? I just did. Ah, you were with me. You were with me. You knew what was up. Let's do some prototyping of this really quickly. And let's just, we are going to ignore the high scores thing. Whoa, I need that bright green color there. Let's do a little bit of this, okay? So I want to do some prototyping, and I have some assets I want to show you really quickly. I'm going to turn the volume up on my laptop and hope you can hear this. I have a couple of assets like this little video game distortion sound. Okay. I also have this, a little correct sound, a failed sound, and I have some music. Okay, so I'm going to use those assets right now and bring this thing to life in prototype mode with just a little bit of sound. So I'm going to go to prototype. I'm going to select the artboard first and foremost of the initial first screen. Okay, and I'm going to select audio playback, and I'm going to choose, I already loaded these up. If you want to load one in there, you just hit add new file and you find the location of the actual audio file. So I found the new file, and we want the video game music, audio playback timed with a 0-second delay. Okay, so that means when we press play now, yeah, so we get some fun little almost like Zelda music. Okay, so that's pretty cool. And now what we want to do is prototype from our new game into our new game. Okay, so new game. What are we going to do? We're going to select the entire artboard again. I want every time a new screen loads to have that little distortion sound. Okay, so I'm going to select here, and I'm going to, let's see, come there. Yep. I'm going to hit my little prototype trigger, and I want a timed transition, and I want a audio playback, and I want my little, where'd my distortion sound go? Distortion. Just like that, okay? So now when we move from screen to screen, first we should get the music, and then we should get that little sound moving into the next question, okay? Kind of fun. From here, if we choose the wrong answer, we're gonna prototype to the wrong screen, and the right answer to the right screen, the correct screen, okay? And we're gonna do time transitions on each one of those too. So if we come over here, time transition, audio playback, we want failed sound, and we're just tapping on our correct screen. We want the small win, okay? So let's go here and hit the little blue house to make sure our prototype always starts from our first screen. That way we get tap, Incorrect? Oh yeah, that's not the answer. We don't want that answer. Now let's just do a little shortcut for us in case we want to go back and try it again. So we want to tap, we want to transition, and we want to go to question and just a really quick dissolve. Okay, so we just want to, on tap, we want to head back so we can try it again. Here, there, we got it wrong. We can go back. We get it right. Ah, we got it right that time. Okay, really, really cool. Let's see. Something in the chat says, can you provide a link to these sounds? I can't, but I did prepare a starting file that's available to anybody that signs up and joins to become one of my members. The starting file has the fonts and the sounds and the assets and the Donkey Kong, and the starting XD file has all that stuff. Okay, let's do just one more little something, shall we? A few more little somethings. Let's use some voice kind of triggers that XD allows us to do. So I'm going to drag this over, and I'm going to set now a new interaction. So you can see we have the tap, but now we have one that's trying to be games and keypad. Let's make it voice, and we're going to type in the command here, new game. Now in Adobe XD, if you haven't done voice interactions yet, when we press play on prototype, we should be able to hold down the space bar and then speak the command, and then XD will listen to us and do what we say. So we should be able to hold down space bar and say new game. Let's try it. Ready? New game. I did it. I just had to lean in and get close to my laptop. So we're able to do that. Let's do it again really quickly here on Mario. Is going to lead to the incorrect. It's going to be voice, and we're going to see if it can track the name Mario. I don't know. And Peach, let's go over here and let's put in the command for Peach, and we should be pretty much there. When we are done, let's click either one of these that will lead us back around to the start. That way we can tap trigger that transitions there on home. And let's do a transition, but let's do not dissolve. Let's do slide up or something like that. Okay, no auto animating stuff today, just normal kind of transitions, some voice and some audio playback. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna press play. New game. It worked. We're gonna hold down space. We're gonna say Mario and see if we get it right. Mario. Okay, let's go back. Let's try the correct answer. Peach. Ah, I got it right. Pretty cool. And then we can tap the big arrow, which would lead us to the next question. But in our case, it leads us back to the start of the game. And that is our game, folks. We prototyped just the start of a game. What do we do? Let's cover what we did really quickly. We created a basic aesthetic for the game. We brought in some fun assets and some typography. We created components and component states. We messed up on it, but we tried. We created 8-bit buttons using the Boolean and Pathfinder operations by subtracting and creating our fun little 8-bit thing. We did some regular prototyping, some audio playback, and some voice triggers inside of XD to make a fun, simple little game. And you could do this over and over and over. You could add fun auto animates and transitions to this. It could be a lot of fun. But that is basically what I had hoped to do today. So I have accomplished the design in about 30 minutes, which is exactly what I hoped to do. And now comes question time and portfolio review time. So now's the time where you might want to flood the chat with either your questions or your portfolios. So you just put the name, the address of your website there, and I'll try to look it up and see. Okay, cool. You can also submit questions to me on Instagram if you'd rather do that. You just follow me on Instagram, and I have in my stories, actually, I just have a post where I was gonna take people's questions. So with that being said, while you guys are getting your questions and portfolios ready, let's go see if anybody asked any questions. Let's see. I'm not sure if they did yet. No questions yet. Okay, so we're waiting on you guys to see. Oh, Triz says, love to know how you have the ambient music while you're live. It's literally just the live streaming software that I'm using that allows me to have a song playing in the background. So I could make it louder or softer, change the music. My live streaming software is allowing me to jump around and do all of these things just like this. And that's just live streaming stuff. Cool. Something says, loved the session. Nick asks, in your experience, what's the industry standard between Sketch, Figma, and XD? Do you think it's evolving since XD is newish? I would say that the standard right now is probably still, I think it's kind of neck and neck. This is always the question that people have. One second. I need to drink some nootropic drink if I'm going to think and answer questions. I think that everyone, it's kind of neck and neck between all these different tools that are out there, the design tools right now. But I'd say the big three is still Sketch, Figma, and XD. I don't think XD is new anymore at this point. I think it's pretty well put together. I think it's a solid tool. I think Figma is absolutely amazing. I should do more streams and feature Figma because I love Figma with all my heart. I like Sketch. I loved Sketch. I was on Sketch like the day it came out. But they're, in my opinion, they're just not progressing fast enough. And then also it is platform specific. It's still Mac only. And that's a no-no in my opinion. I'm a PC and a Mac user. So I appreciate allowing people to design and use your tool, even if you don't have a super duper expensive MacBook Pro. So that's just my opinion. That's why I would put Sketch at the bottom of the barrel, because they're not thinking of PC users. And I love all of you PC users out there. That's my thing. Abdul says, when did you first jump into the UX industry? So I started like 12 years ago or something like that, just doing graphic design, print design stuff, transitioned to web design transitioned into mobile like application design and software design. So just doing a lot of digital design. Somewhere along the lines, I became a product designer and a UI designer and started thinking of more than just the way that an interface looks, but how it actually feels and how it actually serves the user. So I started reading books like Don't Make Me Think by Steve Krug and The Design of Everyday Things by Don Norman, and it made me realize that the way that things work start to finish, a user's journey and experience inside of whatever you're designing, is just as important, if not more important, than a flashy, sweet-looking neomorphic interface or whatever's trendy right now on Dribbble. Let me see. Camila says, what would you say are the must-haves on a UX portfolio? If you're going to do a UX portfolio, or really I think a UI design portfolio, just as digital design portfolio in any way, shape, or form, I think that case studies with metrics and process are probably the biggest things, right? So what do I mean by that? A case study documenting the process in the project, a process as far as what part did you play, and what were the challenges that were specific to the project, and how does your brain think? How did you go through it? Was there user stories? Was there personas? Was there testing? Was there all that stuff? And then metrics, if it's a real project, how did it actually improve the user's experience? How did it improve the profitability of the company or the product? So if I'm shopping for a UX designer and you can tell me this is my process and it raised revenue by 50% in 2019, I'm probably going to hire you because that's really impressive. So metrics, process, case study. That's what I would say. Is it mandatory for UI UX designers to know how to code? No, it's absolutely not. I honestly don't think it is. I happen to enjoy front-end development, but honestly, you don't have to know how to code. It is a benefit though, I would say. Who asked me this question? Kartik asked this question. It is a benefit if you would at least know what's possible though. So you don't go designing things that are insane or start creating animations and prototypes and going, here, developer, you do this. It's better to know the medium in which you're designing for. So every little bit of code that you know probably helps you in your pursuit of being not only a great UX or UI designer, but also being a great team member and working with engineers, which is a really, sorry, I just hit the mic. It's a really like crucial part of being a successful UI or UX designer, is being a good team player, because your apps can't get made. Your websites, your products can't get made unless you have, like, you're working with developers and engineers. So think of that. Let's see. From the prototype, where would the back end be to build the program? Jump in. If you want somebody to build it for you, the standard thing still right now is for applications to be built inside of Xcode for iOS or Android Studio for Android apps. And knowing those languages, but there are a lot of no-code tools that are coming out for mobile applications as well as websites. For instance, there's a question from Maiden that says, what's the difference between Editor X, Webflow, and WordPress? These are all tools for websites to help you build with no code, right? That's supposed to be the goal. WordPress a little bit less, but I just did a series on Editor X, and that's a way for you to take your designs and transform them, or excuse me, bring them over into the web without actually having to know code. There's some mobile solutions like that too, like Supernova Studio and Bravo and some others, which I'm playing with right now. Super duper fun. Let's see. Is it important to have a good processor laptop of i7 or Ryzen 7 for using Figma? No, it's browser based. You can have a pretty run-of-the-mill computer and use Figma, which is pretty rad. I wish I knew how to say your name. Is it an I and Aryan, or is it just Aryan? I'm sorry, I apologize. You need to know things that you can't implement, because if there's a separate coder, they won't know how to code. Okay, so here, let's go back to my screen really quick and answer a couple questions. What would I do from this prototype if I was actually handing this off? If I'm not coding this or trying to make this thing happen or using a no-code tool, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna do one of three things. I am probably going to I'm definitely going to have a meeting with my engineering team or my developer who I'm handing this off to. But second, I'm either going to create what's called a red line, or I'm going to create some sort of design spec environment for them. So a red line, the reason they call it a red line is because you would literally take all these things, right? You would group them all together. That's your, let's go back into design. That's your design. Now I want to have a rectangle, like some rectangles in here that are, you guessed it, the color red, because I'm about to make a red line, right? And I would take that and I would get all the spacing, okay, between here. And how big is that? That's a height of 30 pixels. So then I would take some text and say 30 pixels there, and I'd probably use something like Helvetica, and I'd make it white, and I'd bring the size down, and I would make some sort of little spacing like measurement thing, and I would do this for everything. I would say, hey, what's the distance between this and this, and I'd have to figure it out and say, it's about 100 pixels. And so I could hand off a file like this to my developers, or I could skip this whole process, and with Figma and XD, some other smart tools, you could jump over to the share thing. You could create a link for your developers, and you can create that link, and it's going to create a design specification area, or yeah, it's going to create a design spec, and I'll show you exactly what that design spec looks like. It's really great. This is a great thing a lot of design apps are doing nowadays, because handoff process is tricky, right? And if I can just create an online design spec for developers to look at, then they can do all the measuring, download all the assets and everything they need without having me to tediously do that, right? So they could come in here. Look, I'm going to come into my design spec area. I can click on an element, and it's going to give me the space in between them. It's going to give me the assets. I can download that asset. It's going to give me the names of fonts and sizes. It's even going to give me code over here. Okay, and it's going to tell me that there's interactions based off of these. So a design spec is a really good thing to offer developers as well. So that's just a thing for you to think about. Zeppelin's a great tool for delivering. Absolutely. There's lots of great tools out there. All of these like program and tool specific questions are really going to come down to what is closest to an industry standard and what do you prefer in your workflow, honestly. If you like to use Zeppelin, then get your development team on board with Zeppelin, and you guys just roll with it. You run with it, okay? Let's see, kind of helping as a product manager with a nonprofit, but I'm finding it difficult to find resources regarding all the things a project manager is actually supposed to do. Any recommendations? Camila? No, I don't. I don't have any recommendations. I'm not a project manager. There's a reason I'm not a project manager, because I'm not that organized. So all the power to you. Godspeed. Be organized and do your best. I wish I had. I have nothing for you. I'm so sorry. Okay. Chandra says, please upload more videos in the rework and redesign series. You like that one? Okay. All right. If you are digging it, then let me know. Okay, I'll definitely do some more in that series. Let's see. R. Tomas says, This is answering my question much more in like definitely. Thanks a lot. Okay, cool, great. Okay, fantastic. Sounds great. Is it okay if our portfolios are on Behance, or should we have our own website? Ooh, Behance is great. You know why? Because anything you have is better than nothing. And so if all you have is a Behance account, awesome. If you have a Dribbble account, get it. If you want to do your own custom domain and do a whole thing up, do that too. There's lots of opportunities out there. Wix, Webflow, Editor X, Squarespace, if you want to create something like that without having to do like the actual coding yourself. I would say a lot of people's first thing is like WordPress. I need WordPress, right? And it's like, I'm gonna go, if you want a portfolio, you don't need WordPress, because WordPress is a content management system. It is built for you to use for the next 10 years, to blog, to have lots of content. Like one of my favorite websites, CSS Tricks by Chris Coyier. He runs on WordPress. He has like thousands and tens and thousands of pages. That's WordPress. Don't do that on Squarespace. Don't do that on Wix. Do that on WordPress, okay? If that is your goal, to write a blog, to have lots of content, that's where it belongs. So just my 2 cents, not the end all be all answer, but just my 2 cents. What other questions we have here? We got a couple more minutes and then we got to get going. And is anybody submitting their portfolios? I've seen 0 portfolio submissions, and I don't know why. You don't want me to look at your portfolios? That's fine. I just want to give you some constructive feedback, some constructive criticism, just things to help you. And maybe, just maybe, you're having trouble actually doing it inside of the chat. I'm not 100% sure, but if that is the case, then you can go to my channel and post them in the community tab underneath the post that we did for this live stream. If you'd like to post your thing there, you can do that as well. Yeah. So let me know. Let me know if you have anything like that. Okay. I sent it 3 times and it's not working. Oh no, maybe go post it. Yeah, go post it in the post in the community tab. Put your link in there, okay? And I'll see it, and I'll try to click on it and go from there, okay? Let's see. Something says where to start in a UI career. Honestly, I've preached this message over and over. You start by doing. Yes, learn, absolutely learn and grow, but as quickly as you can, you need to get to the doing process, because that's going to help you learn so much faster, is by learning and failing and doing and making stuff. So that's just, again, my 2 cents, but start doing immediately. Trids and Aryan and everybody, please go to the community tab and post it, comment it, on the post, this post right here. Let's go to my screen. Come over to the community tab of my channel and jump down here to the post that says going live in 20 minutes. You can just set a comment right there and drop your link inside. Leave your portfolio links here. That's not how you spell portfolio. Good. Okay. Yeah, do that. Okay. Or maybe, is it possible to even do it in the comments of the actual video? I don't know. Put somewhere if you can. Either on the comments of this video or somewhere else, and I'll try to get to it, okay? Cool. Trying to keep track of it and see if anybody leaves anything on that thread. But let's keep answering some questions while we are doing stuff. Oh, look at that. We got a portfolio already. Good job. Okay, let's jump over and let's talk about Kendall. And she submitted her work, kendallgorl.com. Very clean, really nice presentation. This is good, just good design practice in general for websites or for anything. Kendall, you did a great job here. A smiling face right when you land on a page goes a long way. Okay, Kendall's got a great smile. She's happy. And it looks like right off the bat, I love this because it looks like really simple. I can learn a little bit about her, see her work, meet her. She says, a business manager turned UX designer based in Calgary. AB that uses human-centered design to create thoughtful user experiences to enhance our off-screen lives. My work, okay? Here's one little critique, and your business manager turned UX designer, AB that uses human-centered design. I know what you're saying, but does everybody know what you're saying by immediately just saying AB? I might replace this little section of just the copywriting here with maybe something fun and kind of personal about you. So I'm Kendall Gorel, a business manager turned UX designer based in Calgary. I love pizza and I love making awesome user-centered designs. Maybe if you love pizza, I don't know. Just something that also makes me say, maybe I want to hire you. Maybe I want to work with you. Maybe you're a fun person, okay? Super clean, nice presentation of the work, and then straight down to the get in touch section. So let's look at a piece of work and see what Kendall's got for us. Really excited to take a look at this, okay? I love a big piece of like a money shot right at the top, like a great presentational shot right at the top. This is just Ask Jack as the project. Chat instantly with an expert in home repair, any trade, anytime. A little bit of the project overview. It's clean, it's nice. I might want to see more than just a splash screen though, maybe multiple screens. Really wow me. Go spend some time on Behance and look up some UI design and see the way that people wow like with their UI design stuff. You know, so let's just bring up some of that as comparison in a second. But challenge, business requirements, problems, inspiration. Love all of this. This is the starts to a great case study. I would also just say, Kendall, maybe integrate some visuals as you're going down the page, because some people, even hiring managers, even possible clients, have a little TLDR, a little too long don't read mentality. And so mixing some visuals in here with it might be effective. Design process, okay. Competitive analysis, okay. Yep, you did your SWOT, that's nice. Surveys and interviews, it's nice. Everything's good. I like it. I'm into it. User journeys. Now this is a true blue case study. This is studying the case, right? Like an investigator would. I want to see every single thing that she did. Here's some good visuals. I would have liked to have gotten to some of these process focused visuals a little bit earlier. And also I don't see anything about, I like going to the final design. That's kind of nice. This just jumps you down to the bottom. See how small that was though? See all of this user interaction stuff? This is great. I want to see this at the top. I want to see it more. I want to see it clearly. And I don't want to wait all the way till the bottom to get there. Also take a look at the clickable prototype in Adobe XD. Great, awesome. But I want to see so much more of these other types of media like prototypes and better like designs, like shots. I want to see all those closer to the top. I'm just saying that when I see just a splash screen and I start reading down here, it's a lot of reading. It's a little visual, not really the greatest visuals. Even though you're a UX designer, my belief is that the portfolio should still be presentational. This doesn't mean you need to over design it, but I do think some of those presentational elements further up, quote unquote, above the fold, if you still believe in that term, I think that those would be beneficial. So I think the work is beautiful. Let's get back down to the work here. I think the process is gorgeous. I think the detail here is amazing. If I'm looking for a UX designer, I want somebody really detail oriented, and you're slaying at that. You're crushing that right now. I just want to see a little bit more of that, the beauty up above the fold. Maybe like that, maybe even more, okay? So here's the live clickable prototype. Nice, it feels good to get in there and actually touch it and play with it. Good. Loving the prototype. Everything's really, really detailed. Okay, got it. What if I click something like that? What if I do a search? The prototype's real slick. You got some timed interactions that you've spent your time here. And that feels really, really good. Love it. Love it. Good stuff. Hey, you know what? I have nothing else to say about this. This is a great design. This is a great portfolio. Kendall, I want to be like you when I grow up. You're crushing the game. You're kicking butt. I love it. Thanks for submitting. Let's see if anybody else submitted any more portfolios to take a look at. Did they? No, that's all we got is Kendall right now. And I wish we had more, and I wish we had more time. But Kendall, thanks so much for submitting that portfolio. It was great. Got no comments on the video, and we got no more. Oh, wait, it says we have more, but where are they? Let's see. Before we go, let's just see. Maybe I'm wrong. Kendall says, thanks for the feedback. I'm a student, so it was immensely helpful. Awesome. That's great. That's exactly what I want to do in these live streams and on my channel. I just want to be helpful and see how I can help everybody out. look at the comments here. Nope. It says 4 comments, but I can't see them, unfortunately. That's it for the portfolio reviews. I'm so sorry. I wish I could see more of them. No, I can't. I don't know what happened. I'm gonna have to figure out a way for you to submit your portfolios in a better way, since YouTube keeps robbing all of the the links there. But Kendall was able to get hers in. I don't know why everybody else isn't able to get theirs in. But great questions today. Had a fun time on the stream. Any last minute questions? Let me look and just check the chat and just see. Which is your favorite design trend? Madden, my favorite design trend is consistency at scale. That never gets old. That'll always beat skeuomorphism or neomorphism or flat design or all the different trends that come and go. I think consistent design at scale is the most beautiful thing. Design you don't even realize is there is consistency. If I was gonna answer your question like straight up though, what's my most favorite trendy thing? It's probably like 3D illustrations. I love them. They're a lot more cute and fun and bubbly than all the flat illustrations. So I'm on board with that. Ooh, somebody said check on Behance and see. I'm gonna check on Behance right now. If you leave me a message or something on Behance, I might. Ooh, I don't see any. Oh, you mean search, right? Aryan S on Behance. Aryan S on Behance. I think I found Aryan S. Let's hope this is you. Let's do one more before we get going today, shall we? All right. Here we are on Aryan S's page. I'm hoping this is you, Aryan S, a student in India. No information about you, what type of design you prefer to do. Let's look at this shoe application. I think I know this design. I think maybe you did this with me in one of my Adobe Creative challenges, which I love. The color's great. Everything's looking pretty good. Let's see, this is a scaled massive prototype video, but it's all right. Very cool. Yep, it's kind of hard to see in here. Okay, yeah, that's fun stuff. Let's go back and see when maybe we can fit in here. This is a travel website. Let's check the travel website. Okay, let's check it out. Interesting. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of that search bar interaction. Not the biggest fan of it. Now the layout here is nice. The text is really, really small. Let's go full screen on this so we can give it the best. Now this text is great, so maybe I was just looking at it a little too small. I think, yep, but this small text here, this description text, way too small. That's gotta be like 6 or 8 pixels. That's way too small. It's not legible. But this screen right here, for me, I'm just gonna say Aryan, little bit of a missed opportunity. And here's why. You have this big image. Where's the main call to action? What do I want a user to do when I get to this page? Do I want them to click around up here? Do I want them to search? Maybe this is why Airbnb and Travelocity and all the other sites, they put a giant search bar right here, right? Something really, really big so you know exactly where to look and not hide that primary action up here. If that's not the primary action, maybe one of these is. Maybe we need to get some content on this page because right now it kind of looks like a screensaver, right? And so we want a little bit more design here. Also, the navigation, home, attractions, explore, they're kind of fading in. So we need to do something that makes these things jump out off the page a little bit. I think the first thing is not necessarily a visual design thing you need to do here, but it's an assessment of what you want the user to do when they first get to this page. Is it search? Is it click on something? Is it know some information? If that's the case, we need to set some priorities here, right? What's the primary action, secondary, tertiary actions? If I was thinking about a travel website, I would think primary is to start searching for the things I want immediately. Secondary is to click on any sales or products that we're featuring right now. And third is probably to log in or get to their account of some sort. So I would format everything around that. So I'd do a wireframe of this first, figure out how the content lays on the page, and depend less on this big, beautiful image that you have here. So that is my thoughts there, but thank you for the submission. I think good work in general. We're all learning, we're all growing, and that's what this is about, right? It's about learning and growing, and you learn through making and creating, getting feedback on that, tweaking it, fixing it up, and doing it again. So keep going on that one. It's a great, great job. Let's see if I can find anything else that's been submitted before we go. I'm gonna jump back over to my community tab. I'm I'm gonna drink my legend drink. I want to see if there's any more comments. Come on. Oh, we got another one. Oh man, right on. The comments actually came through this time. It is another portfolio on Behance. This is Ruben, and I'm gonna probably mess up your last name. I apologize, but Lurelo. Did I say that right? Did I say it wrong? Did I kill it? I'm sorry. But he is from Porto, Portugal, and he says graduated multimedia communication. Feel free to get in touch. Here's what I want to know. I'm happy you graduated from multimedia and communication. I want to know what you like to do. That's what I want to know right here in this portfolio. I love accomplishments. I love accolades, but you know what I love better? I love somebody who knows what they love and tells me that right away. It's a firm handshake that says, I want to make your website, or I want to make your next poster, or I want to make your next application. I like that a lot more, just personal preference. So I want to hear about who you are and what you like to do immediately. I see a lot of digital design for the most part. So I would assume it's digital design, but I don't know, because maybe this is branding work that you've done, and I'm not really sure. So let's click on a piece of this work. It's funny because we don't talk about it enough, but copy, content, and how you portray yourself is very, very important on your portfolio, even if it's a Behance account. All right, we got a little kind of GIF of a website and nothing else there. If I was going to look at this, I would say interesting. As it's framed, I think that it's missing a little bit of that wow factor. Just the shot in general, and maybe as I'm trying to look at the design is also missing a little bit of that wow factor. First off, why is it cramped into this containing element? Could it have been like full screen? Maybe. That would have maybe given it a little bit more wow factor. The content inside could actually stay within a containing element. Let's say you want to do 1,000 or 1,200 pixels for desktop or laptop, but these colored boxes of green and gray with the shapes and the red, maybe those could extend all the way to the edge and then present it that way. That's just a thought. I think in general, if you are going to present work, you need I mean, I get it. I do the same thing. I'm guilty of this. And so that's why I'm telling you from experience, it's probably better to do a little bit more than just one single screenshot like this. Okay, let's look at this one. It's a good money shot. It's a good presentational shot as we scroll down. I'm guessing, because I can't read in this other language, I'm so sorry. I'm not bilingual at all, but I'm assuming you did every piece of design on this page, including this advertisement. It's a digital advertisement, maybe, is what I'm guessing. And the layout, if I'm gonna critique the actual ad itself, I think the layout is nice. Typography is nice. I wouldn't mind seeing maybe a little bit more contrast between headline, subline, headline, and body copy. A little bit bigger. Have fun with type, you know, play with it a little bit more. But the price is definitely standing out. The car, the image, the brand, everything. I think it's a good implementation. I mean, I'm not an expert at brand and marketing design by any means, but I think it's good stuff. Did you do this brand? Because I kind of like it. Kind of into the little hands, the dental clinic holding hands. Now this is a good presentation. Web design, UI, UX design. So maybe you didn't do the brand, but we're gonna go down and see what you did do about it. The design style you're showing, some different animations in here. Okay, all right. Oh, got some animation of it. Oh gosh, that GIF is very, very fast. Here's one thing I can take away. I think this design work is great, but I will say that the way that you're presenting work is very aggressive. It's very fast. I would rather be able to take a long look at something. You know what I mean? Like, let's just look at it. It's very fast. Slow it down. Let people take in the best and most beautiful parts of your design. Let them see the value and the focus. I know you want to show the whole thing. There's got to be another way that you can do it, okay? He does design and code, he says in the chat, and lots of newsletters. Okay, I get you. That's good stuff. I would say, in general, focus on your presentational style. See, I like this a lot. It's very branded. It's very nice. Maybe give us some different types of media. I like this, but maybe even think about doing like skewing these and having some perspective and showing lots of them at one time. I like exactly like this. You beat me to it. I was just saying it. This is probably for me your best presentation. I'm not the biggest fan of the gray behind it. I think you could have found a better way to do that. It kind of mutes the whole thing. But also, side note, if you're going to frame things, get the Mac OS X dock out of there. We don't need to see the dock. We just need to see the stuff. But I think really your work is actually excellent. I think you need to work more on your presentational skills more than anything. Personal opinion. I hope that helps you. I hope that it gives you some good feedback and some direction to go. But great work, Ruben. Hey, thank you everybody for joining me on the stream. It's time to get going. It has been exactly 1 hour, and that means time to cut the stream. Thanks for joining for the design portion. Thanks for all your great questions and for submitting your portfolios. Remember, I'm doing a live stream each and every week now on either Fridays or Saturdays. So make sure that you hit that little bell notification icon, subscribe to the channel so you know exactly. If you hit the little bell, when I go live, you get a little notification. It tells you that I'm going live. So that's a pretty cool thing. Also consider becoming a member of the channel. That way you can get access to all the design files and all the assets and fonts and everything that I did in this video as well as future videos. I appreciate all of you joining. Hope you have a fantastic rest of your Saturday and weekend. See you next time.